Miguel, you've received such critical acclaim for your work since on TV, since Repo Man. What's the biggest lesson you've learned during this time that you're able to apply in Finch?
I think one of the most surprising things that I've learned is that confidence actually makes you a better director, because as you learn and you understand what works and what doesn't work, and your confidence grows in your craft, you're able to make decisions faster and more effectively with a better understanding of the repercussions and the consequences of those decisions. And so feeling confident has a much larger impact on my ability to direct than I thought it would.
I absolutely love the dog in the film. I know animals can be difficult to work with some, but he's so emotive and just adds such a great dynamic to the film. Can you talk just working with the dog and just how much it adds to the film? I mean, it's at the core of the whole story.
It was actually a very, very easy process working with the dog. Seamus is a rescue dog that was actually we picked and then introduced to Tom Hanks, who had an instant rapport with him, and so he was trained, really trained to be a dog. I mean, he was just we tried to avoid giving him any special tricks, but the idea was if we could not anthropomorphize this dog, but allow the dog to just exist in the space, hopefully his personality, which was one of general nonchalance, would emerge, and we would start to see a real relationship between man and dog, or robot and dog in this case. And I think we kind of tried to hold really strongly to that and avoid adding too much to the dog's behavior. That said, you'd put the camera on the dog would generally be uninterested in anything that we were doing, and then you'd put the camera on the dog and the dog would suddenly start doing all of these special moves, and it was kind of fascinating to watch because I don't know where that came from. There were other days where you'd put the camera on the dog and the dog would literally do nothing you asked him to do and wander off, or eat sticks in the middle of other people's scenes so you couldn't hear anything properly and the dialogue wouldn't come through. But we realized soon that the dog's relationship was not necessarily with us, but was with his trainer. And so when he had a good day with his trainer, he would do everything. And when he had a bad day with his trainer, he would become this disobedient dog. And you would see this kind of really interesting love affair between dog and trainer that was kind of very reminiscent of the kind of relationship we were trying to create between Finch and Goodyear.
And then my last question here, I was really surprised at just how the film goes in so many different directions. Like there's almost like a buddy comedy road trip aspect to it during some points, and it's able to blend so many serious topics with, some comedy, and it's very versatile. How was it just blending those genres? And could you speak to just Tom Hanks' versatility as an actor?
Obviously, Tom Hanks has done a lot of comedy is a forte of his. He's able to do very serious drama. I think we spent a lot of time talking about the darker side of Finch. This guy who had basically had a really bad experience with humanity and felt very hard done by, and we also were seeking to take that character but not necessarily overtly explain his dark side, but rather exist in the background. It was an underbelly, which comes out in particular in a scene later in the film where Finch has a confession to Jeff about how he found Goodyear. The nature of how you blend the genres is, cross your fingers and hope that it works. I've always been a huge fan of genre blending movies. I find them thoroughly entertaining. I love seeing things that mix different genres. I know that it's a very dangerous thing to do because you can fail magnificently at all of them. I've had my experience of doing that. But for me, I like something that makes me laugh and cry and be scared and get my adrenaline going. I really enjoy that kind of movie making. It's a kind of a generalist movie making that makes me want to go to the cinema.